So, welcome to another in my series of 10 questions where I ask a familiar garden YouTuber 10 questions. Everybody I've asked has had exactly the same 10 questions. And what is interesting, and what I hope you will find interesting, is that we have had some very, very different answers. It's giving us a chance to get to know them a little bit better, get to know a little bit more about the channel. And let's face it, who doesn't like being nosy, especially when you're hunkered down on a nice winter's evening? And tonight's guest, it's Will. Hello, Will. Hello.
Hello.
I've sort of given the game away with your name now, Will, but would you like to introduce yourself and tell us who are you and what is your channel?
Okay, my name's Will, and my channel is The Flying Gardener on YouTube.
Okay, okay. Well, that was all nice and easy, wasn't it? Should we move to question
Very
two? Would you like to tell us a little bit more about your channel, Will? Because I know that it's a fantastic gardening channel, but if people haven't tuned in before, whereabouts do you actually do your gardening? Is it an allotment? Is it a home garden? Is it a small holding? What do you have?
Okay, so yeah, I wish it was a small holding, Jane. That'd be my ideal. But I'm actually in Hampshire in the UK, so I garden at home. Got my home garden, and I've got my allotment plot as well.
Mm, mm.
In the town. And yeah, my home garden's generally a cottage style garden with a few little prairie planting styles in there thrown in, but generally a cottage style garden. And then obviously I grow all my fruit and veg at the allotment, and then I'll grow a lot more flowers there as well because I ain't got enough space at home.
There's never enough space, whatever size
Never.
growing space you've got, there's never enough. And I mean, I'm going to tell people about your home garden because you just said there's a few flowers, it's cottage garden style. If you haven't seen one of Will's garden tours of his home garden, you really, really need to go over to his channel and have a look because it is beautiful. And I know I've said this to you before, Will, but it is like something out of a magazine in a good way. It's so
Thank you.
full of love. And I know you've done it over different months before, and you've got different things coming up, and there's always something
Yeah.
growing. And so it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course,
Thank you.
do you grow vegetables in your home garden at all?
I don't actually, Jane, because the only reason I don't grow vegetables is literally the space, but because
Yeah,
I've just got no space at
yeah.
all, and that what sort of prompted me to get an allotment plot in the first place because I wanted to branch out into fruit and veg. I've always been flowers before,
Mm.
so yeah, my fruit and veg is there. I've only grown sort of tomatoes at home. You know, you generally do the
Yeah,
tomatoes on the patio and things
yeah.
like that. That is all I've ever done at home, just simply because of space.
But so now you've got two designated areas, haven't you? Absolutely brilliant. That's
Amazing,
great.
yeah.
So then, what is your main reason for growing? This sort of comes over quite nicely then. Why do you grow your own fruit and veg? Why do you grow your own flowers?
No, the main thing for me for growing is the enjoyment I get out of growing things, and that's it. Because I grow my fruit and veg, obviously, which is fantastic. I always grow too much because there's only me, and there's only me here to eat it, and then I have to sort of give it away to neighbours and friends and things
Okay.
like that, you know.
Mm,
So, but one part is, yeah, I love just growing in general.
yeah.
But then the other part is, well, I know it's organic, it's homegrown,
Mm,
it's going to be so much healthier and so much fresher, no food miles. So it's all a plus. And then some people say, oh, you could go to the supermarket and get a bag of carrots for 50p. It's like, but yeah, you could,
good.
but that's not really why I do it. I
Mm,
do it for the enjoyment of growing and knowing where it's come from.
I think that's very familiar as well. Some of the answers that we've had, just the air miles. And as I keep saying, if you buy carrots from the shop, well, yeah, and they might last for however many weeks. And you think, why are they lasting so many? Why are these tomatoes still okay, however many weeks later? Because what is in them, and it does make you question and just realize what you're actually putting into your body. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But but the enjoyment of actually seeing something from the first
Yeah.
tiny thing,
And you
and I
grew it.
still look at a
Yeah.
seedling and think,
Yeah,
believe that's going to grow into a squash or a tomato, or
I
you
know.
know,
It
it's
blows my
beautiful.
mind. It blows my mind. You know, you see a tiny little cabbage seed, about a
Mm,
little tiny ball, and
yeah.
like then you look and go, that's grown into a cabbage. That's blows my
How
mind,
did that
still blows
happen?
my mind, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's lovely. And I think it's that joy of that that keeps us going, isn't it? You know, so
Yeah.
okay then, Will. So we know that you love gardening. What made you take the next step into actually recording your journey? What made you start your YouTube channel?
Well, I suppose it was, I mean, I'd had my allotment for about 7 months by the time I
Okay.
started my channel. So I didn't record it from the start. I recorded my progress on Instagram from the start of my allotment journey. But then you know what you like when you start doing your allotment, you always watch lots of YouTube videos and things like that. So I was just watching loads and loads of stuff, and I was thinking to myself, maybe I could have a go at that. I mean, it'd be nice to document
Mm.
and just see, um, you know, in years to come, what it was like at that time, and like a bit of a living record sort of thing. And I thought, yeah, why not? I could have a go at that. So that's what sort of prompted me to do it, really.
And also, when did you actually start your channel, Will?
When?
When? Yeah, I've thrown this
Yeah.
as a
So
bonus question. When did it
yeah, bonus
start?
question. So it was so it was July 2022. So it was a year, July gone.
I
So
mean, you've done
that's
so,
when the
so well.
channel started. Yeah,
Yeah.
end of July. That's when the channel started. Yeah.
So you've already been able to see, this is what I was getting at, what you were doing 12 months ago. And how great is
Yeah.
that when you can just look back and say, all right, okay, I wasn't that late with that. I wasn't, you can compare really well, you
Yeah.
know, and
It
it
was
is a
really
brilliant way.
strange. Yeah, it was really strange actually because I've actually the start of this month is my 2 year anniversary of actually getting the allotment plot.
Yeah,
So it was weird. I looked back in an old video the other day and I was like, wow, that looks so different to what it was like, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And I only started recording 7 months on, so a lot
yeah.
of it was in place anyway. But
Mm.
it's weird how things evolve.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It is. It's always worth. I always say to anyone, just have a go, you know. And if it's not
yeah,
for you, it's not for you. But yeah, yeah, you're doing really well. Channel.
yeah,
Just at this point, there will be all the links to Will's YouTube channel and Instagram, etc., down below at the end. But you've got to watch this first. Okay, Will. What's your first garden memory?
first garden memory. That goes back to I was probably about 4, something like that. And my dad was a big gardener, and that's where I think I get it from. And that was all he was always my hero, you know. And there was nothing he didn't know about gardens. So I've actually got a picture photographs of me in the garden, probably about 4 years old, helping my dad. Dad's in the background, and my dad would be like, "You'd go and do a little bit of this," or and I remember so that was sort of my first memory and a
Mm,
childhood memories. And I always just grew up gardening and just got the bug for it
mm.
straight away, you know. And my dad would give me a little section of the garden, and that's your bit. You can
Oh,
do that, and
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
But it was I always just remember following my dad around, and he'd be talking about this, and I was only really young, but you know, I just grew up like that. So yeah, my first earliest memories were basically I was 4 or 5 years old in the garden, you know.
yeah. You'll have to get some pictures up on Instagram, Will. We need to see those.
Yeah, I have got a fab picture
Have you?
actually that I've got of me and my dad in the garden. I
Oh,
might put that up actually.
I think that would be good. That would be good. But yeah,
Yeah,
how lovely that these memories they stay with you, don't you? You know, as long as they're
they
positive,
do.
obviously. And they
Yeah.
are there is that sort of nostalgia when you go back into it, you know. But that's lovely. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. People find this one a bit tricky. What or who has influenced, if anybody or anything, your gardening style? Would you say you had a particular gardening style? You alluded to it before.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we're talking about home garden, flowers, shrubs, and things like that, um, no one person in particular, but I sort of draw inspiration from lots of different things. So, for instance, now you look more on Instagram and things like that, and you get sort of things like that. I also just look at what other people are doing. I thought, oh, that's a great idea. You know, I might look at that. And
Mm.
but also with my job as well, it I tend to be able to go and see lots of different parks in different
Brilliant.
countries, and they have different planting styles. Like if I go to California, for instance, they've
Mm.
got a completely different planting style over there, and different plants that cope with those climates. And I think, oh, I could try that, you know. And I
Mm.
suppose that sort of thing influences, I suppose, the way I garden.
Yeah.
And then so it's growing veg and stuff like that. You sort of, especially within the YouTube community, you sort of, it's sharing and learning knowledge, isn't it, all the
Yeah.
time? And then
Yeah.
that sort of might influence the way you grow and produce your fruit and veg as well. But
Mm.
yeah, I suppose they're the main influences, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. And I think as it sounds, pardon the pun, but as you grow as a gardener, you get your influences from everywhere. You're not, I'm
Yeah.
very suspicious of people who say they garden in one particular way. Because I think, well, what
Mm.
about all the other? Have you tried all the other ways?
Yeah.
It's always worth a go.
Yeah.
Always worth a go.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned this before as well, Will. Number 7. What would your ideal gardening space be? So if you had a complete blank canvas, where would you
Yeah.
like to garden?
Yeah. If I had a blank canvas, I would have a lovely little farmhouse in the middle of the countryside. I'd have lots of acreage, not a farm, but
Mhm.
lots of acreage to get all a like a lovely little market garden. I'd have ducks and a little duck pond and chickens and all. I'd
Oh,
have all that, and I'd have just tons of growing space. A big, massive, fancy stone and timber greenhouse, and I'd just have the works, Jane. That would be my ideal
you're
in
being
the
very
middle of the
specific there.
countryside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
What about
yeah.
a
I mean,
little?
I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And what about a little bit of woodland? A little bit of woodland?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little woodland on the side be fine, just
maybe
as
a
a little,
stream, a little stream going through
yeah,
it. So, oh,
yeah,
oh, it
all
sounds
that.
lovely.
No, not
Well,
asking for much.
no, but when you do get that, Will, please send me an invite because it just
You-
sounds
You'll
absolutely
be
perfect.
you'll be the first one to be invited.
Be lovely. That'd be lovely. Oh, that's my dream as
Yeah,
well. It's just
yeah.
gorgeous, just gorgeous. We can but dream. Okay, quick surprise, closed question, dead easy. Tea or coffee?
See.
Thank you. Okay, right, number 9. This is the one. This is the one that people dread. Okay, I know I keep saying that about all the questions, but number 9. Is there anything that the viewers may not know about you that you would like to share?
Thought about this, and I thought there's nothing really revealing apart from
Oh, come on, Will, I'm
I
sure
am
it is.
I'm a twin. I'm actually a twin.
Oh,
So
really?
maybe they didn't know. I don't think anyone does know that, actually. I've
Does
got
your
a twin
twin know?
sister.
Oh, right, okay. So your twin does
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
he
okay.
does know. Yeah.
Identical twin?
No. So twin sister, and we do look a little bit alike, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Wow. I've always wondered what it must be like to be a twin. Is it? I suppose you
Yeah.
don't know anything different, do you? Because
Yeah, this is it. People say, "Oh, what's it like to be a twin?" And well, I don't know any different because I've
no,
always grown up like that. She's just my twin. Is my sister. I've got an older sister and an older brother as well, but I've got a twin sister. And people say, "Oh, what's it like to have a twin?" I was like, "I don't know. It's just normal
that's
for
just the
me."
way it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So were you in the same class at school and all this, that, and
Yeah, we were in primary school. We were in the same classes, so we sort of we spent a lot of time together.
and does she like gardening?
She loves gardening. Yeah, I think we sort of get that from my dad, and my older sister
Yeah,
likes gardening as
yeah.
well. We sort of think get that from my dad. I think.
Yeah, and your upbringing, yeah, yeah, and obviously that joy, that family joy. Doesn't that sound nice? That
Yeah,
family joy that you share. That's lovely. That's
yeah.
really interesting. Well, I didn't know that. Right, okay. Question number 10, Will. As a seasoned gardener, a very successful YouTuber and Instagram creator, um, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about starting out?
I suppose I would say if it's a new gardener, literally no knowledge whatsoever on starting out from scratch, I would say if it's a home garden they're gonna have a little crack at, I would say choose a small area of your garden, a little small patch,
Mm,
mark it out, even if it's just with a raised bed or something like that, and just concentrate on that and literally have a go.
mm,
And trust me, you will get the bug straight away. Have a look at YouTube videos, have a look at Instagram, Google what you don't know, but have a little go. Same as an allotment. I always advise people who get allotments, and we know what allotments are like when they get left for a
oh
long
yeah,
time, Jane,
yeah,
and they get
yeah,
abandoned and overgrown.
yeah.
I say to new allotmenteers that come onto my site, and some people are novices, and we all just share and our knowledge and things like that. And
Mm,
I say just cover it up and work on a section at a time. And that's exactly what I did when I took on my
yeah.
allotment 2 years ago. I covered most of it up and I did a little tiny section at a time.
Mm,
And it
mm.
doesn't, in that way, it doesn't overface you. And
Absolutely.
then you can sort of progress then, and as you move through you think, right, that section's completed, you get the
Yeah.
self satisfaction it's completed,
Tick. Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
more motivation to carry on, and you can see sort of the end in sight as you're progressing through. So I would say my advice in a nutshell would be to start small and just work on little sections at a time, same as you would in your home garden.
Yeah.
You sort of got that little spot, right? Okay, I'm going to try another little spot now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so easy and we are surrounded by information at the moment, but it's so easy to be completely overwhelmed because all of a sudden you see a fantastic garden, you think that's what I want. And you think, right, I'm going to go and try for a couple of days and see if I can. It takes
Yeah.
time. So
And I say to people, like, people say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing." But I just say to them, "Have a go. What's the
have a go.
worst that can happen?"
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's brilliant advice. Thanks, Phil.
No problem.
Okay, the question that I'm sort of dreading now, but I must admit, haven't managed to answer any of these yet so far directly, but will try my best. It's the one that you have got for me. Now, just as any disclosure whatsoever, I have got no idea what Will's about to say. So I've told him to be kind. So, Will, ask
I
me,
don't know
do.
if anyone's asked you. I don't know if anyone's asked you this before, but I'm asking you: what made you pick up a trowel for the first time and want to start gardening?
Oh, well, you see. Oh, now we're gonna have a whole other chat. I can remember, as a lot of people have said, I've got memories of mum and dad's gardening. They both loved gardening. It was very much a 60s, 70s garden with the straight mowed lines and sparse planting, but they loved it. And it just, I'd never really realised I loved it until I was given a little space. They moved house and there was a greenhouse had been left there. And they didn't know what to do with it. And they said, well, if you want to do a little bit, do a little bit. And so I planted some radish seeds. It's funny because I've never been much good at radish since, but I remember the thing of seeing them grow and thinking this is really good, but never developed anything with it because life takes over. And it was only
Yeah.
when I had my first pretty much bed sit, it was time, I suppose you'd call it, student digs. And I was with Mike and we were looking at Victorian Terrace and we were looking out on a completely paved backyard. It was about 3 flagstones wide, long backyard. And I just looked out at it. I thought, can't be doing with this. Can't be doing this. Is
Mm.
ridiculous. And I actually remember taking up one line of the slabs. I probably shouldn't admit this on video, but I remember doing that and planting, getting a trowel. I think I got the trowel off mum and dad and planting tulip bulbs. Really, I could have just put pots out there, but I remember thinking, no, this isn't right. No one should just have a view of just a grey bricks, grey thing. I need to put plants in there. And I think that since then, any space like student digs, first flat, anything where we've had a bit of space outside, I've wanted to get some colour into it. And that sort of grew into the more space that we got. then we could start putting vegetables and things in that as well. So yeah, that's a good question. You know, I'd forgotten all about the slabgate until you just asked me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's just so
yeah.
important, isn't it? It's so important to have that colour and that life, I think.
Oh,
You just even if
just
it's just greenery, you know?
absolutely, absolutely. You know, so yeah, yeah. I wonder if they're still. It's probably all slabbed over again now. It was a long time ago. There we go. Right then. Okay, that's it. That's been really lovely chatting to you, Will.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to look out for people who look like you now and think, is that Will's twin? Fancy that. That's really, really interesting. Okay, I'm going to say to the viewers at this point, thank you so much for watching. This will be going out, this series of chats will be going out on Sundays on YouTube. But if you're on Patreon, you'll get a little sneak preview a couple of days before. So do keep an eye out there as well. But until then, I'm just going to say a huge thank you to Will and tell everybody, Will, if they haven't visited your channel already, they need to get over there. All your links will be down below. And so hopefully you'll see a lot of them again soon. So until we see you
Thank you.
again, it's bye for now. Bye.
Thanks, Jane. Bye-bye.
Bye.